Welcome to the CFA convention. My name is Kimberly Kaler, and I'm thrilled to be here today. I'm a longtime friend of the CFA industry, and I'm here to just give you a couple of tips of stretches and things that you can do. Our work environment has changed a lot, or maybe it hasn't for you, but you may be finding yourself in front of a desk quite a bit, or traveling, or even if you're at the job site still every day, we need to take advantage of times for stretches to take care of our bodies, increase that flexibility, and also to decrease our stress that we tend to actually carry in our bodies. Today, I'm going to show you things that you can do with a wall. So, or any sort of other structure. You can even do it against your work truck. Start first with our shoulders and the openings that we can find. So I'm going to start here with, I'm going to demo things on both sides, but I'm going to take my left hand and put it against the wall. And then I'm going to come up nice and close to the wall here. So this may look different for you. Your hand may be down a little bit lower. You may have really tight shoulders and you may not be able to get your shoulder right to the wall. But I want you to work on feet a couple inches away from the wall. And then carefully, you're not leaning forward too much. I want you to stand up nice and tall and feel this stretch. So this is something that you would want to come into and hold. It should not be painful. Maybe a little bit uncomfortable, but you should never have any pain, especially in a joint. If you do, I want you to back off here. So holding this for maybe 3 more breaths, finding the opening here in our shoulders. Beautiful, one more inhale. And then as time goes on and you find some opening here, you're able to actually turn away from yourself. So notice I've turned my feet and I'm starting to open up this shoulder. You can play with how this looks like. Maybe your hand walks down the wall. That allows you to open across the chest a little bit more. Some people then will find some nice opening here after the stretch, bringing the arm up and finding that place that allows everything just to settle back. Beautiful. From here, we'll go ahead and find your second side. So right hand this time, or opposite side, depending on what you did. And walk in close to the wall. I want you to think of getting that armpit as close to the wall as you can. So silly as it sounds, like if you were going to be spreading your deodorant on the wall. That allows us to open up this whole shoulder head here. So I'm not rotated forward. I'm opening up this external rotation, opening up here against the wall. This may look very different on you than it does for me, depending on the length of your limbs, what your flexibility is right now. Again, don't push on anything, don't force it, but find the opening that feels good for you. And when I say find that opening, what I want you to do is find that first nagging spot, the first spot where your body says, ooh, stop right there. That's your body's way of saying, hey, this is a good spot. You don't want to ever push forward for that. You don't want to actually try and push to get into a stretch deeper. Stop at that nagging spot. Feel the stretch, breathe into it, and that gives your mind and your body a chance to actually catch up. Because your body tenses up. It's a protection mechanism. Take the time to just find the space and invite the opening. And if this is your first time doing this stretch, practice it. Give it some time. Maybe for about 30 seconds today, and maybe play with it for about 45 tomorrow. Beautiful, and then same options here. Maybe the hand walks down. Maybe you turn your feet a little bit. Maybe it feels good then to open up the arm here. And when that arm is up, I'm feeling a stretch all along the side body here, getting nice and long. Couple of breaths here. Beautiful, go ahead and bring the hands back down. I'm gonna go ahead and wake up the legs a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and step away from the wall. You're gonna have to play with it to find out what the right sequence is. And then from here, I'm gonna go ahead and walk myself down. Now you may immediately, your mind may go to doing this in a gym class in high school many, many years ago. And to sit back a little bit. And I want you just to be aware of your quads turning on. I don't need you to go super low here. And obviously be careful with your shoes if you're on a slippery surface. I don't want anybody to fall. But feel those quads turn on. Feel the opening here. Notice my knees are right over my ankles here. I don't want my knees coming any further forward. Take one more breath here. And then hands are gonna go back to the wall. I'm gonna help push myself up here, rising and in a very protected and safe state here. We're gonna then play with that stretch and actually coming into a forward fold. So again, I stepped away from the wall a bit, push my bum back against the wall and kind of settle in. And then I'll notice my space that I have here. Maybe my feet walk back just a little bit more. And I'm actually gonna widen my stance. And then from here, I'm gonna walk my hands down my knees. This would be a great place to maybe have a prop in front of you, like I have here, to actually rest back down. Never hyperextend the knees, but I am hinging at the waist, and I'm gonna come down and find this forward fold here. So as you come into this and get a little bit deeper, you may be able to walk the feet back a little bit more, hand and dangle. Great prop would be just having a chair in front of you, maybe doing this in front of a desk. So your sits bones, those bony parts of your bum, are actually against the wall. Let's take a couple more breaths here. Obviously, if you don't have the prop, you're able to still bring your hands down. Maybe the hands are resting on the thighs. Maybe you're able to dangle down. Beautiful. Take one more inhale. Exhale down. Now, before you rise, I want you to bring the hands to the thighs and then push the bum back to the wall. We're going to rise slowly with a nice flat back. Now, you were just doing an inversion, so you were upside down. I want you to take a moment here. Make sure you're not dizzy. Relax into this space. Beautiful. One more inhale. Exhale out. So the other thing that's great about the wall, in addition to the shoulders and then opening up here with that forward fold, is we can bring our foot back against the wall and then bring our other leg out and finding the stretch. So opening up this hip flexor. We'll take a couple of breaths here, using the stability of the wall. Notice my hips and my shoulders are square and pointed forward. Take one more inhale here. Exhale it out. And we want to carefully exit out of any pose that we are in. So I'm going to keep that bend in that front knee, and I'm going to push myself forward. Second side. May take you a little time to actually get into this space. That's fine. I'm up on my tiptoes. Widening our stance allows us to have a better base, helps with our balance. And even though my leg is straight, I'm not hyperextending this knee. Bending into this knee, knee is over the ankle. And then I'm opening up here. Shoulders, hips square. And then I'm opening up this whole front hip flexor. Area that's so tight because of how much we sit in our society. Take a couple of breaths here. Beautiful. One more inhale. Exhale it out. Again, focus on this front leg. So I'm going to put the weight into that front heel, push myself off, bring myself forward. You can also play a bit with a pyramid posture on the wall. And I'm going to bring a chair into class to show it to you. Otherwise, I'm going to be facing backwards and you won't be able to see as much here. But using the wall, I can actually walk my hands back down, bring myself forward, finding a stretch here. So again, imagine that I'm against the wall here. This chair allows me soft bend in the knees to find that stretch. Beautiful. And then one of my favorite postures to do against the wall is actually pyramid. So I'm going to bring one foot forward and I'm going to externally rotate. So this back leg is out on a 45-degree angle. I'm going to shorten my stance a little bit. And then I'm getting a stretch now in the back of the calf muscle. If you're not feeling it, maybe you walk that heel back a bit. Notice my front knee is right over that ankle. So finding this opening and finding this stretch. Can always open and widen my stance to get a better base of support. Finding your breath always. Careful that heel isn't coming back up. We're really trying to stretch out that calf muscle. So again, this is what it would look like against the wall. Beautiful. And then we'll take second side. So feet come forward, and then this other foot comes back out. You're going to go ahead and point that toe, angle that toe 45 degrees angle off. I want you to get a nice stretch of that back calf muscle. Knees over the ankle here, finding this stretch. And what this would look like against the wall, the beauty of the wall is you can really push into the wall and really stretch into that calf muscle. Go ahead and take a couple more breaths here. Beautiful. Bend in this front knee. Whenever we come forward, we always want to make sure nothing's locked out. Foot comes forward. Next thing we can do is some cat and cow movements against the wall. Again, I will show you on the chair. For the wall, you would find a forward fold. But I can bring my feet back. Comfortable stance here. Hinging at the waist. Soft bend in the knees. And I go ahead and drop the belly. The gaze comes up. And then on the exhale, I round around, find that cat-like spine, finding that arch. So you can do this a couple of times here. This can also be done with hands on the thighs, finding some articulation of the spine. Beautiful. Last one here. So inhale up, exhale, round around, and then push into the feet and rise all the way up. So we've stretched the calves, the hips, got into the legs, we'll come up a little bit, obviously got into the shoulders. Other things that you can do with the wall, you want to go ahead and come down on the mat. And as you bring yourself down, all sorts of options to find a nice stable structure here with the wall. Maybe the legs come out in front of you and I scooted my hips back and I can find a nice forward fold. That's a really great option. And then one of the other things you can do to work on your core stability and your balance, to bring yourself forward in a tabletop position. And I'm going to bring a foot back against the wall. You may have to take a moment to actually measure and feel the right. So I've got my right foot back. I'm going to tuck my chin, and then I'm going to bring my left arm out. So this is called bird dog pose. And really push into the foot at the same time that hand's coming forward. Beautiful. One more breath. Exhale, hand comes down, foot comes down. And then second side. So left foot's going to go back into the wall. And this is what it looks like from the side view. So that left foot we're going to pretend is back at the wall. Push the foot into the wall. And then arm comes out and extends. We've got one more inhale here. Exhale, that hand comes down, foot comes down. Beautiful. Go ahead and bring yourself back forward. So the last thing I'm going to show you at the wall, chances are it's not something that you would do while you're at work, but maybe it's something you can play with while you're at home. And it's called legs up the wall. So legs up the wall is really great for reversing our blood flow and just, calming down the nervous system. And I will have my back to you, so I'll go ahead and show it to you and then come back and kind of walk you through it. But how you get into this, you actually sit down on one hip and you're going to put the other hip up against the wall. And then from here, I turn my body so that my legs come up, maybe scoot my hips up to the wall here. So from this position, I can keep my legs up, settle in, maybe the legs open. I can find a butterfly posture. Many, many options for you to play with legs up the wall. So a couple of tips, for getting out of it is kind of scoot your bum away and then roll yourself out. So that's a great way to maybe end your day. Legs up the wall is used quite a bit for those that have sleep troubles because, again, it calms the nervous system down. And then you find that it's a really, really great way to help them come into more of a sleep mode. So those are your tips for doing things at the wall. Remember, you've got walls at work. You could do a lot of this against a chair or maybe your truck. So take advantage, even if it's just a couple of minutes here and there, find little ways to go ahead and release that tension in our shoulders and our hips. Your body will thank you, you'll feel better, and hopefully stay injury-free. Thank you. Have a wonderful convention.